fall is here. I'm so happy. And guess what else I got? Now, this series, I'm very, very excited because this is my 118th book. And you can pre-order it now, and it releases the 29th of October, and it is called One Night. It is a dark versus light fae romance, and it is part of my A Light Farie Tale series. So this is book 10. I write series, like I said, so it they're not small. I'm trying right now to write a small series with only 3 books to it, and it is an angel series, but I'll talk about that later because it won't come out till the new year. But anyway, so this is book 10 in the A Light Farie Tale series. Basically, King Cormac is the Dark Sovereign King. He's been the Dark Fae King for 4,500 years. He never gets involved. He watches from the sideline. Clydna and Balance pretty much rule the dark side of my courts. They rule the opaque courts, and so basically for all this time Cormac just lets them. I mean, he doesn't really get involved unless it's something really bad, whereas light and dark are about to pretty much obliterate each other. Then he'll get involved, but the majority of the time he doesn't. So for all of this time, for the last 100 years, he's pretty much left his throne, and he's roamed. And he's roamed in the human world. And he's fascinated by humans, but he's never approached them or never, like, you know, talked to them or whatever. He's just fascinated. He watches them. He goes to the places that they go, but he doesn't interact. And so finally, with the events that happened in book 7, because of certain people being erased, or my version of erased is they are somewhere else. They're not unalived, but they're erased. So it's like when you watch a series and that person doesn't show up because the actual actor who's playing might be pregnant or whatever, so they have to like put a lull in that character for a bit. That's what I do in my series. So unless I specifically tell you that that person is unalived, if you're not seeing them in the book at that point, then they are not a major part or point to whatever the story is that I'm telling. So you get, for if you chose to read this book by itself, you totally can do that. It does give you a excerpt of what happened in the last book, the prologue or flashback to the function, to let you know what happened with Prince Callan and Princess Midna. It lets you know what happened in that. But the book itself, if you chose to read it by itself, you totally could, because it is still a story by itself. The way I write, each book gives you a different set of characters. So even though it's a series, and the main couple who started that entire series is in every book, it's still about that couple and everything around them. So you could read this book if you wanted to, without having to read like the entire series. I would hope that you'd want to read the whole thing, because the events in here are crazy. I try to write like throw like crazy stuff in there to like, you know, pique the reader's interest. And so this is together with historical, contemporary, dark, paranormal, the spicy stuff. This is my 118th book. And I don't say that to brag, because that's not what I'm here for. I say it because I feel like I've accomplished something, especially in being a person of color and a minority. And it's very, very hard for us to make it in this industry. And so a lot of times authors like me will just give up, or they'll just be like, what's the point of even writing anymore? And I feel that way a lot, but it never stops me from writing. So 118, and I hope you guys check this out. It is a light Farie series versus dark Farie series. And King Cormac has decided that because of the events that happened in the last book, he is being forced to take his throne. And in order to take his throne, he has to have a queen. And you can't just walk up to somebody and be like, yeah, you want to be my dark queen? Because there's pretty much connotations that go with being the dark queen. So he decides to search for his queen among those humans that he's been studying and observing and fascinated with for the last 100 years. And therein lies Penelope. Penelope is an ad executive for a New York advertising firm, and Penelope has issues of her own because her boss for the last 15 years, who's worked for the company for 25 years, decides to send an email chain that he quit without telling anyone that he quit. And so because she's been his right-hand man for the last 15 years, all of this stuff falls on her. And now she has to deal with Frank shafting the company, and then meeting some little younger Z practically in a bar who wants to offer her one night. And yeah, then all the drama starts after that. So check it out. It releases October 29th, but you can pre-order it right now if you want.